Helen's daughter, Megan, was at the University of Bournemouth when she contracted the meningitis type B strain. She died just days later. Since then, Helen has campaigned for a vaccine to be made available to young adults on the NHS. We're really grateful to Helen for coming on the programme this morning. Hello, Helen.
Hello, Dot. Good morning.
Oh, it's not even 6 months, is it? So this is really tough this morning. Do you mind me asking you what happened with Megan? Because the speed of it, she's away from home, she's in university. When did you understand that she was becoming unwell?
So it was on the Friday, the 24th of October. Megan had been at Bournemouth University for only 5 weeks, and she had called me to say that she was feeling quite lethargic. Now, somebody who's as sporty and active and outgoing as Meg, that rang alarm bells for her not to want to go out. So she woke up the next morning. She was feeling worse. She had aches, pains, temperature, and she'd been nauseous, and she had a rash that had developed on her stomach. Megan decided to go back to bed and try and sleep it off. And at 3:00 in the afternoon, then she woke up and the rash had spread all over her body. She was unsteady on her feet. She was feeling worse, even though she had been sleeping. And we then realised that something was seriously wrong with Meg. And we asked her to ring 111 because she was on her own in halls of residence at that point. So she rang them, and unfortunately, after an hour, hadn't had a response. So one of her friends, she called up to come and help her, to take her to the Bournemouth A&E. Unfortunately, she was triaged out of Bournemouth A&E and sent back to her halls of residence, at which point we had already set off from South Wales down to Bournemouth because we were concerned it was meningitis at that point. We then took her back to the Bournemouth A&E. I attended the doctor's appointment with Megan, and the doctor categorically told us it wasn't meningitis, and turned us away again.
I mean, it's unimaginable what you've been through, and you telling us this story this morning, it's a painful listen. Never mind what you've been through. What does it feel like for you this week, seeing what's happening in Kent?
As soon as I heard the breaking news on Sunday night, it was devastating, heartbreaking, because I knew after Megan's death, when we learned about the fact that anybody born before 2015 aren't routinely vaccinated against Men-B, and that last year, obviously I'm going off England figures because Wales don't split by age gap, but 15 to 19-year-olds in England, 100% of the cases were Men-B. And therefore, I knew that this would happen again. And that was why, even immediately after Meg's death, I think as soon as 2 weeks after, we started campaigning and trying to raise awareness about Men-B and how, when you're living in halls of residence in close proximity to each other, that they are at higher risk. So that's what we try to do. We try to raise awareness, and we are trying to get the government to change their stance and actually immunise adolescents to protect them.
Because as it stands, teenagers are currently offered a vaccine, aren't they, when they're around, 13, 14. It's a booster vaccine, but it's for men ACWY. That Men-B isn't routinely offered on the NHS. Do you understand why that is?
Yes, so we didn't at the time. So when Megan had her vaccination, it was just told to us that it was a meningitis vaccination. We weren't even told that it didn't cover against all strains. In the recent years now, they're starting to mention that, but we certainly weren't told. Now, when we've asked why they don't give the Men-B vaccination to adolescents, we're told that it's not cost effective. We find that absolutely abhorrent because to us, Meghan's priceless. I'm sure all the families in Kent that are going through this and all the families that have been affected by meningitis over the years would absolutely say their children and families are priceless. So we want them to reconsider their stance on this.
I was looking, because you are living every parent's nightmare. You send your child off to university and it's traumatic enough as it is, and what you've been through is unimaginable. And there'll be parents out there thinking, well, I don't know what vaccines my children have had. I don't know where to go, what to do. And I looked, and apparently a booster or vaccine costs around £220 privately. I think that's for Men B, that's what it says here. But as it stands, it's not available on the NHS for this age group. Now, it is routinely given, isn't it, since 2015, Helen, to babies. The babies and then into toddlers, they get the booster. Men B is included.
That's correct. So as Meghan and all the people in secondary schools, and they're not vaccinated against Men B, and the only way that anybody can get protection currently is if they pay the £220 privately, which is available at local pharmacies on the high street. We weren't aware of that. Had we been made aware of this, and this is why we're trying to raise awareness, we would have paid in a heartbeat for Meghan to have that prior to going to university. And unfortunately, we've suffered the tragic cost of not being aware. And I think that's my mission right now, is to make sure that other people have an informed choice. If you have children at university or in college or go into university, it's for you to make that decision whether you seek it privately.
I'm not ending this conversation without asking you what Meghan was like.
Oh, Meghan was absolutely stunning, both inside and out. She was sporty, outgoing. She had a real zest for life. She was chatty and people just loved to be around her. She played netball and swimming. She was in Pontypool Triathlon Club. So just phenomenal human being.
Thank you, Helen, for coming on and speaking to us this morning at an extremely distressing time for you. Helen Draper there from Pontypool, who lost her gorgeous daughter, Meghan, who's at university in Bournemouth last October when she